Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Tessa. I'm a student recruiter from the University of Alberta. Before I was ever a student recruiter, I was a student myself. I graduated just a few years ago with a Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition and Food Science, and I love my time at the University of Alberta. I love my degree, and so I'm so excited to get to share that with you as today we're talking about advanced placement. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we're located on Treaty 6 territory and we respect the histories, languages, and cultures and knowledge systems of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. So today we're going to be talking about advanced placements. So you're curious, clever, and motivated, which is what we are as an institution. So we're a top-ranked research-based university, and we're so excited to get to share this with you today. So in today's presentation, we're going to be talking about what the application process, um, other things to consider, and other ways we recognize all the hard work that you've done as a high achiever through your advanced placement journey. I'd also like to just reference that we have uab.ca/AP, which is that bottom left-hand link right on the screen there. A lot of the information I'm going to be talking about is going to be located on this website. So just make sure that you know that this is an option available to you as well. So why does the University of Alberta value advanced placement students so much? Well, it is because you are incredibly hard workers and you have a ton of skills that will be very useful in a university environment. So a few of them include time management. So you will understand how much time to be working on an assignment or how far in advance to be studying for an exam. And then it also comes with building skills and workload preparation. So university classes are taught at a much faster pace than high school courses, and you'll have a little bit of a taste for that in an advanced placement program. And then also extra practice with writing exams. This is always going to be helpful and always going to be an asset in a university environment while you're writing exams for your classes. And most importantly, it's that ability to stick with it. The challenging program or academic rigor that you're going to experience in an advanced placement program is going to be super helpful for you in a university environment where there's going to be tons of challenges and room for you to grow throughout your 4 years in an undergraduate program. So the ability to stick with it is going to be a huge indicator of success. At the University of Alberta, we're going to be using what we call a dual admission process. So this means that we're going to be looking at both your advanced placement grades as well as your high school grades. So if you present both an AP grade and a provincial course mark, we'll take the higher of the two. So for example, if you take AP, let's say biology, and you score maybe like a 4, as you see on that percentage chart that's on the right-hand side, we're going to take that as an 86%. But let's say your final grade for that is that AP Biology 30 is an 80%. Well, we'll take the 86% exam grade instead because it's higher. We want to calculate it at an advantage for you. So, like the slide suggests, writing the AP exam will never put you at a disadvantage because we're always going to take the higher grade between the course mark and the exam mark. Dual admission applies whether you're taking full AP courses, only AP courses, or if you're just doing partial AP, you're picking and choosing, only doing a couple or maybe just one AP. Dual admission will always apply. And I'm just going to move myself here. With that AP conversion grade scale that you see on that right-hand side, this is what we use to convert your grades to calculate your admission average. So AP results are on a 1 to 5 scale. Of course, we convert that to a percentage for our purposes. And then, of course, if you score a 4 or a 5 on the AP exam, specifically the exam, will also reward you in other ways, or not reward, will recognize you in other ways um, to commemorate all of your hard work. So I'm going to touch on all the different ways. But first, I'm going to talk about, again, I'm going to just move myself here. Um, we're going to talk about the curriculum of study. So this is what the application process will look like. So once you're applying to the University of Alberta, uab.ca/apply, you're going to hit the advanced placement button. And if you've also done Canadian curriculum, for example, you would also select that. And this is where you're going to self-report your courses. It might look a little bit something like this. This example uses British Columbia curriculum, but depending on what province you're from, it'll change. But for example, we have that you'll be able to list that English First Pupils 12, or sorry, your grade 11 English. And then you'll also be able to list your AP English on that self-report. So it's a really simple process. It's a drop-down menu, and that is how you're going to be able to report. So you're going to be able to go back, select AP, and then self-report your advanced placement classes. And if you aren't finished them, you'll be able to mark them as in progress. So I just want to clarify that for you as well. That's how you're going to tell us that you're an AP student. And of course, like I mentioned, we want to talk about AP recognition. Your hard work pays off. So let me touch on the ways that we like to recognize you. The first is through advanced placement for advanced placement. This is the ability to register in senior level courses without taking the junior level first. So moving from like, instead of doing like a 100 level class, you'll go into the 200 level class or the second year course, for example. So again, the recognition that I'm talking about here is if you score a 4 or a 5 on the AP exam. Just want to clarify that before we keep going. But advanced placement in terms of recognition, again, is just that ability to take that senior level course. This does not offer you transfer credit, but it helps you jump straight into the advanced areas of which you're passionate about in a subject. And it's usually offered with language classes. And then we also can offer you transfer credit. So this is university level credit for work completed in high school. It can free up time in your schedule, save some money since you don't pay for classes you don't take. Just note that you don't actually receive a grade for this. So just make sure that it's not going to impact any plans. It really shouldn't. And also just if be aware that if you are applying into a faculty that doesn't want you to accept transfer credit, like the Faculty of Engineering, that you're not accepting that transfer credit. And again, there's more information available at uab.ca/AP. And then we also offer credit by special assessment, which is where you write a university level exam for a course. This is primarily for AP chemistry. I really encourage you, if you're considering this route, to talk to the Faculty of Science because they offer personal advising on this. They'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the possible benefits and also possible negative impacts of choosing credit by special assessment. So just note that when you are doing credit by special assessment, you're going to write an exam from the Faculty of Science in the subject that you're trying to get credit for. So let's say chemistry. So you don't take the course, you just do the exam, and whatever grade you get on the exam, you that will be the grade that shows up on your transcript. So if you do really well, that's awesome. If you don't do really well, that grade can follow you. So just note that, reach out to the Faculty of Science directly if this is something that you're interested in. And then, of course, if you've completed the AP capstone, we also will offer you 3 credits to students who successfully complete that capstone as transfer credit. We also like to reward you and recognize all of your hard work through scholarships and awards. There's more information available at uab.ca/awards, but the University of Alberta gives out over $40 million every single year in scholarship and financial aid to students. So I believe that there's about $50,000 with our Enriched Scholar Scholarship, which is awarded to specifically advanced placement and international baccalaureate students. That it is $50,000 with each prize being about $5,000. So we like to reward you with scholarships, transfer credit, and all sorts of good stuff. So definitely check out the website to stay in the know. We also have advising topic-specific presentations, such as submitting your application, Scholarships 101, and so much more. So please head to uab.ca/recruitment events at that bottom link to sign up and stay in the know. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I will move myself over here so that you're able to scan that QR code and keep in touch with us. Have a wonderful rest of your day.